Make my world brighter when I'm alone. I keep on rolling, oh, with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true. 'Cause this is the beginning. Together we'll be winning. With you I'm a savage. Make my sorrows chill. 'Cause with you I'm feeling feather-light. Light like a feather, white like the wind. I fly together to where we never been. You taught me loving without all the bling. You're all I need. I'm feeling feather-light. Light like a feather, white like the wind. I fly together to where we never been. You taught me love You take me higher when I feel low. Make my world brighter when I'm alone. I keep on rolling, oh, with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true. 'Cause this is the beginning. Together we'll be winning. With you I'm a savage. Make my sorrows chilling. 'Cause with you I'm feeling feather-light. Light like a feather, white like the wind. I fly together to where we never been. You taught me loving without all the blame. You're all I need. I'm feeling feather-light. I'm feeling feather-light. You're my desire, my cookie dough, my burning fire, my secret code. I keep on rolling, oh, with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true. 'Cause this is the beginning. Together we'll be winning. With you I'm a savage. Make my sorrows chilling. 'Cause with you I'm feeling feather-light. Light like a feather, white like the wind. I fly together to where we never been. You taught me loving without all the blame. You're all I need. I'm feeling feather-light. Light like a feather, white like the wind. I fly together to where we never been. You taught me loving without all the blame. You're all I need. I'm feeling feather-light. I'm feeling feather-light. 'Cause with you I'm feeling feather-light. Light like a feather, white like the wind. I fly together to where we never been. You taught me loving without all the blame. You're all I need. I'm feeling feather-light.
You could fly me to the moon, but I don't have time. You could promise me the world, but I'm cool with mine. Ain't gonna hand you my heart so you can break it. I'm gonna make it so hard, gonna leave you waiting. But I can't deny, I can't think of a reason. There don't need to be meaning, but I need this, so is it such a crime if I say that I'm leaving? I tell myself that I'm leaving. when we're alone. Boy, I know I should leave, but when
Alrighty, hello, and welcome, for those that are already here, to this best of 3 series between US Army Esports and Wildfire Ravens. We are on the 9.15 patch of this Season 9 League of Legends game here, so there's going to be no surprise that we are going to be seeing, you know, probably those newer champions being taken out of the mix, maybe the Silas and things like Irelia, Akali, that are just so very popular in a lot of these different competitive games, even if, you know, they're not exactly professional LCS games, but it doesn't matter. If you allow some of these skilled players to have some of these power champions, it's just best to take them off the board. Otherwise, taking away the Morgana, away from It's Me That's OP, away from US Army Esports' bot lane. Otherwise, most of the players on these teams are, I'd say, low diamond average, but there are a few high diamond in there. I know there's a couple of diamond 1 and 2 players in this league that are, I think a good number of them are 80 carries. I want to say maybe a few of them are mid laners, but usually one of those two is typically what I see. Actually, I know Lane Zero Inferno's top laner is either Diamond 2 or Diamond 1, but no Masters players as far as I know. I'm pretty sure the cap is at Diamond 1. So that's typically what we're going to see. You might see a couple of Platinum 1 or 2 players, but it's mostly going to be low to high Diamond. Otherwise, third ban coming out from USArmy Esports to go along with the Thresh and Silas is going to be the Camille. While we see what Wildfire Ravens decide to prioritize for this last ban of the first banning phase. We did see the Kled change that did allow his Q to proc that Grievous Wounds for about 5 seconds, I believe it is, which when you really consider when it comes to champions that have to deal a lot with sustain or even just 80 carries that are so very reliant on their bloodline sustain if they don't already have that Bloodthirst or Blade of the Rune King of some sort like that, cuts a lot of that healing. You know, it's a pretty big deal for about 5 seconds at a time. 5 seconds is a long time in this game. But otherwise, Wildfire Ravens do decide to take away the Lucian, out of all things, away from Talented. So we're not going to be seeing any aggressive Lucian Morgana gameplay, and first pick coming right out of the bat here for USArmy Esports is going to be Valencia on the Sejuani. So already coming out with a nice beefy frontliner, which is going to, really going to try to enable Alacrity and Talented, if they are on their, traditional type of DPS carries, to be able to position as efficiently as possible. See how much DPS they can actually dish out. We did see the Sivir hover there for just a moment, but Wildfire Ravens instead decide to go for that Yuumi, and also hovering the Alistar. I don't think that's exactly what we're hoping for, but with this Yuumi already locked in, we see a lot of the Arcane Comment with the usage of Athenes to be able to, even amplify the healing that is already pretty decent as far as champions go. You talk about Soraka, Nami. Yeah, I'd even say Sona, but if you're going to see that, it's typically with the, one of those cheese bot lanes of that Sona Taric or something along those lines. You do hear that in the background of my mic. That is some fireworks that my local baseball park decides to set off just about every night, just as celebration. I don't know, but Sivir Yuumi is going to be one of the better combos that Wildfire Ravens were able to pick up, being able to utilize the On the Hunt with the Sivir ultimate to be able to rush the rest of the team in, with Yuumi being able to open up with Final Chapter. It's a nice little synergy combo that, it's very safe as well. Yuumi is definitely one of the more frustrating supports to have to deal with, and matching that is going to be a similar enchanter of this Nami picked up to match along with that Caitlyn Nami for USArmy Esports. A very long range here. Lots of poke coming out from USArmy Esports' bot lane with this Caitlyn Nami. We see a lot of people, if they are able to use the pressure of the Caitlyn traps to their maximum effectiveness, it's a fantastic zoning tool. If you're able to, pull off those double or even triple headshots, you can combine it with, passive headshot into the trap, into the net. You can easily do 80% of someone's health, without a doubt. God forbid Yuumi gets caught in the line of fire or something like that, she would just absolutely blow up as well. Well, we're seeing Wildfire Ravens decide to go for the Olaf, so they're going to have a little bit of a front line of their own so far as we get to the second phase of banning. But both bot lanes have been secured, and we can assume that the Olaf is going to be for Griffin in the jungle, but it very may well go for Dropshot up in the top lane. So we'll have to take a look and see where they decide to flex that, but more than likely, anytime we're seeing this Olaf locked in, it's going to be in the jungle. So Zoe taken away from Alacrity, going to be focusing on those mid lane picks, not wanting USArmy Esports to, have their carries on all the, strong comfort champions that, they know, doing research on each other. You're able to find, what people have been playing, what they've been practicing in scrims, if, publicly available, stuff like that, or, even just chatting around with different teams. It happens, you talk about it a lot, and sometimes it's frowned upon, and otherwise we're seeing that Irelia, as well as the Akali that we both talked about at the beginning of this champ select, new school champions, very strong in the right hands, so just taking that out. And otherwise, the last ban is in the hands of USArmy Esports here, and it's going to be the first pick going over to Wildfire Ravens. I really want to see what they decide to pick up for the solo lanes. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be an Olaf in that top lane. You know, it's not going to be in the mid lane as far as we can tell. And then Kennen, whether it's going to be that AD or AP equivalent, more than likely the AP. It's not going to be in this game at all. So drop shot, not going to be able to abuse that range top laner today. Let's see what they decide to pick up, though. You know, we've got a lot of things that could go well here. You know, you got the Olaf speeding up with the Sivern, you know, add that to a Mantra E from Karma, and, you know, you just got a very speedy team right now. You see, you know, what kind of team comp that Wildfire Ravens are kind of going for. You kind of see what they're pulling here. So if they actually get engaged on you and they actually are all synchronized together and they say, we need to go for this play, we have, you know, this go button of On the Hunt and the Karma Mantra E, you know, you have an entire train of people coming at you, you know, could mow down the backline of USArmy Esports if they are in a vulnerable position. Another new champion, though. Fresh off the rework is going to be the Mordekaiser for Porkchop up in that top lane, and Azir's being hovered for Alacrity right now. You know, a lot of pro player talking about, oh man, it's only Azir Corki, but when you do nerf a lot of these champions that were popular at the time of that meta, you know, some champions, even if you don't exactly touch them, the champions themselves don't need to be buffed, but having tough matchups for them being nerfed is just enough for them to come back in the meta. But it's not going to be the Azir for Alacrity today, it's going to be the Zed. We'll see who they can actually pick off and try to get some nice assassinations with the Zed from the mid lane. And then Mordekaiser sending people to the Shadow Realm, the Death Realm, with his ultimate, can also take another person just out of the equation for these fights, which, you know, when you take a look at the team comp that is coming out from Wildfire Ravens, I would actually like to see them locking that Corki. There we go. Because again, look at this team, you know, you have the Corki package that can potentially come in. You know, you got Olaf, who's going to get so many different speed buffs. I mean, Yuumi Olaf itself, you know, take the Sivir and the Karma out of the equation. You don't even really need to worry about that. Yuumi and Olaf is just an absolute force to be reckoned with. So I really want to see how USArmy Esports are going to decide to, you know, you can't really stun up an Olaf with the Sejuani. I mean, you can maybe take him out of the equation with the Mordekaiser ult. That's definitely a possibility. But, you know, poor Caitlyn Nami, you know, you can set down all the traps in the world. You can land every bubble and tidal wave. But if you have an ulted Olaf coming at you, that's going to be trouble. Especially if you have the final chapter coming with Yuumi, you know, along with that, it can be an absolute recipe for a disaster if they let it get to that case. But otherwise, it's all 10 champions locked in for this first game of this best-of-3 series between USArmy Esports and Wildfire Ravens. So while we let the spectator delay go down, take a little bit of a break, listen to some music for the next 3 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Alrighty, and as this first game between US Army Esports and Wildfire Ravens is about to start, in about 4%, or so the league client is telling me. Again, we're looking at the different comps that we have here. You know, I'm not exactly maybe not understanding exactly, but US Army Esports, you know, you see that they do have strong picks in and of themselves, but you do see an actual composition that's coming from Wildfire Ravens. You know, you just of this huge backline dive. I'm really worried about Talented on this Caitlyn right now. It's going to be a little weird having the only peel being the Caitlyn. But otherwise, let me make sure I got all my settings right here. It's been a little bit since I've streamed, so I'm going to make sure everything is all nice and tidy. And we're going to turn up the game volume a little bit. We'll add some music to the equation. And that's already a lot better. And here we go. Let me make sure I got my zoom. Oh, look at the fancy zoom. Oh, how far can I go with this? Oh my god. We're not going to do that. We're going to... Oh, that's not what I meant to do. That's cool that I can do that. Alright, so there we go. Setting up the typical lines of scrimmage that we are so very used to seeing. You can take a look at all the different people on the map right now. Standing in their little designated spots just to make sure that there's no cheeky vision that's already being laid down, because the information that you are getting from early jungle can actually determine a lot. You can tell, you know, where the enemy jungler is going to be pathing. You know, maybe you can say, hey, you know, top lane, I can expect them there at about, you know, 3.5 minutes, something like that. You know, that it's very valuable. It could prevent, you know, a lot of disaster. And right now we do see Wildfire Ravens bot lane going a little bit deep in there, landing that Yumi Q onto the Nami. It's Me That's OP is such a long name. I'm trying to think of what to say. That's OP? I'm not sure how to say it in like in a shortened version. Or SWBF. See, it's just like 4 letters and 4 different syllables. It's just... Actually, no. It's way more syllables. W is quite a large one. Anywho. I was a little disappointed to not have seen the Azir come out of Alacrity. You know, we did see that US Army Esports did hover it, but they decided to opt for that Zed instead. But the problem is, you see just so many damage dealers on the side of Wildfire Ravens. Even if you do take one out of the equation with that death mark, you know, using that Zed ult, getting all the combo in there and blowing someone up, you know, you've still got, you know, depending on the build, a drop shot decides to go up in the top lane for this Karma. We're already seeing a large amount of aggression coming out from both bot lanes so far. Prestige Edition Caitlyn, inside of US Army Esports, flexing a little bit. The rarity of the skins there. Yumi Q going a little wide on a Nami there, but the W and the Ignite is going to go down. Another auto, but it's not going to be enough to finish off Wildfire Ravens 80 carry, so he's going to walk out of that one for now. Is going to recall, has teleport available. Going to bring that Yumi back with him. Otherwise, the keyboarder does have a little bit of an advantage here in the mid lane. It's always nice playing range versus melee and being able to bully the living hell out of your lane opponent. So we're already seeing 2 health potions popped by the Zed already, while the Corki just has his corrupting potion to work on, as well as the Kleptomancy that'll provide him any additional sustain if he gets a little lucky with some of these potions. But right now, there are no potions left on this Nami here, so That's OP is going to have to be a little wary and just rely on sustain of his last potion that is ticking. Unless he has a biscuit coming in here, depending on the runes. I wish I had an easier way of seeing runes in Spectator, but he does have biscuits, so they do have that additional sustain. Don't really have to worry too much. The other thing I wanted to actually comment on, Talented has opted for Fleet Footwork this game as the keystone of choice. And a little bit more popularly, we've been seeing the Lethal Tempo Caitlins that will go for the Infinity Edge into the Essence Reaver, and then sometimes a Blade of the, or excuse me, a Bloodthirster. But we do see a First Blood going down over to Alacrity, taking down Olaf Griffin. Not going to feel too good about that one, but otherwise the bot lanes are still going back and forth as you try to get the vision there, but good First Blood for the side of US Army Esports. Up in the top lane here, drop shots looking to get a little aggressive. Look at this sly sack of gold already picked up. A large amount of healing, but does get pulled back by Porkchop, and this is a lot of damage going off into this Karma, but not going to be enough. Karma also has the minion advantage, going to hit that slow and another auto for good measure. But otherwise, Porkchop only having this Doran Shield to work with, while look at Karma, you know, picking up those sly sacks of gold, has the biscuits, has the corrupting potion, and the additional potions that he's getting from Kleptomancy, so Right now, Lethal Tempo's proc for SWBF does manage to back off Spell Shields, the Caitlyn Q, but not going to be able to Spell Shield that bubble. That's going to be a trap. Not quite landing, but flashing away. Sivir's going to try to get in range for a little bit more, and that's going to be Brush picking up the kill on the Talented. And that's OP is going to be picking up that Sivir kill. If I could even speak, and Drop Shot is not going to fall. The Mantra W heal is going to keep him just enough alive to flash over that fat wall and negating that gank from Valencia up in the top lane. So a lot had happened there, but it is going to be a total of 2 kills for US Army Esports already 5 minutes into the game, but 1 return kill was picked up by the Yuumi, and Drop Shot looking a little bit low again. Zed is roaming up to the top lane. Blackguardy trying to see if he can snowball these side lanes already. You know, he's not even really worrying about his CS that much, even though a lot is dying under tower right now. Corki constantly being able to push that in with the Q, with the E, depending, you know, what he's maxing first and how easy his wave clear is going to be. And again, having Corrupting Potion means you can just stay in lane for however long you want, go back, buy your items, teleport back, you got your Corrupting Potion charges again, you got biscuits coming in, you know, it's just so much sustain, it's absolutely crazy. Both supports have backed and finished their Frostfangs, so that first upgrade of that support item is going to result in them being able to accumulate gold a little bit easier. Otherwise, Phage is finished on the Corki, and Zed has yet to buy, but we can take a look at the gold right now. He's sitting on about 1,700, so he's at the very least going to be able to pick up that more than likely serrated Dirk, if not the Caulfield's Warhammer. But Valencia up in the top side again, Drop Shot isn't very aware. He's going to be able to get that Mantra E for the shield, but that slow, that stun might be enough. You know, we see him healing ever so slightly more, having that Inspiration Rune to be able to get that healing off the potion. Here's going to be Griffin down to the bot lane and not going to be able to get the Nami, but here's Talented getting caught out a little bit. The Undertow does do a lot of damage for that turret shot. Is going to return a lot more back to Griffin. They're going to have to back off of that one. So a lot of ganks are going on in these side lanes, but no kills are being resulted from them. Already getting a decent amount of action. Gold is still just about even despite US Army Esports having the 1 kill advantage. So we'll see if that changes at any time. The only CS big difference that we're going to see here, actually, before I talk about that, another fight going down in the bot lane, gets another headshot using that net, flashes forward to get in range, and one last auto from Talented is going to be enough. Has a Tie-Caller's Blessing for that slow from the Nami, but it's not going to be able enough to get the Yuumi. But nonetheless, a good kill with that pickaxe down in the bot lane. Talented, and that's OP. Trying to make it happen. Here's Valencia going to force Griffin to flash away. Deathmark does land on the Griffin. He's going to be able to get it down. 1, 2, 3. There's the pop. Yuumi heal isn't going to be able to save him time, but Keyboarder trying to see what damage he can dish back out to the Nami. Yuumi is on the side. Talented coming to respond as well. It's going to be a headshot and a result. Flash away. Corki is going to get back to safety. 4-1 in favor of US Army Esports as of right now. But I mean, we were talking about the gold before, and now there's a significant gold lead in favor of US Army, but look at the top. I mean, the CS is looking just about even in the mid lane. You know, Zed's about 10 CS down. You know, it happens. All right, you know, Caitlyn, Sivir just about neck and neck. Sivir has a little bit of an advantage there, while the Caitlyn and Nami are taking this Cloud Dragon for the first dragon of the game. But look up in the top lane. Pork Chop on this Mordekaiser right now has about 63 CS, just to that mere 30 that Drop Shot was only able to accumulate. He is able to finish off that Sheen. Yeah, he's getting a lot of gold from the Kleptomancy. He's able to proc, but to be down, you know, 30 CS is just not really worth the sacrifice, in my opinion. But could take it or look at the personal gold, and again, he's about nearly 300 gold down, but closer to 200. So not as bad as it potentially could be, but farm is really important when it comes to these somewhat elongated competitive games. You know, you have plenty of time to farm up. You know, there's going to be a little bit more of a laning phase than maybe some people are used to in solo queue. So take the time to, you know, manage your way properly, farm up to the best you can. You know, gold accumulation is, you know, equal to power. Otherwise, Talented right now is sitting on 1,300, so he is able to finish off that BF sword the next time he backs, but no teleport for the US Army Esports bot lane. Instead, gonna, you know, bring that heal, but they do have the advantage of the Sivir teleport, so it's gonna be, you know, very pesky to, you know, for US Army Esports to deal with. You know, the massive amount of wave clear that can come out of Sivir, just able to respond to the side lanes almost, you know, just with a breeze. going to be able to respond to any... I mean, you have a triple teleport, actually. Something I had not mentioned before for Wildfire Ravens. You know, they got the Corki teleport, which, again, standard Sivir teleport. You know, you're seeing a lot of traditional marksmen, 80 carries in the bot lane taking teleport nowadays, and up in the top lane, again, you know, you're hardly going to see Ignite, if anything, in these competitive games. You want to see teleport, but having the advantage of the triple there. And also Brush. You know, a lot of times we aren't going to see the typical flash Ignite as we see like on the Nami right now on something like the Yuumi, but maybe a little bit of trouble. Rocket does land on the Nami, but nothing quite is going to happen here. Valencia is on the side just in case anything goes a little bit south. But this is how Griffin got caught last time, trying to take that Scuttle Crab. Is it going to be a repeat episode? Here's Valencia going over the wall, trying to respond to this Corki. Top lane wet noodle fight is going back and forth. It does look like that drop shot is going to be going towards that Iceborne Gauntlet, so we're not going to be seeing a heavy damage karma build, but instead one of those tankier sustain ones, which a lot of people might argue is just a lot more annoying. But he's not blind. There is vision in those bushes, but it might be too late. Zed is here with Sejuani not too far behind. That electrocute proc is going to do a good amount of damage. Not quite going to find the Glacial Prison, but here's the On the Hunt from Sivir. Griffin coming in with a final chapter from Yuumi. Is going to be able to get the kill off on Anami. The double teleport is coming in. The keyboarder is here, as well as Porkchop taking SWBF out of the fight. That Mordekaiser roll is going to be trouble. You have no peel. You got nowhere to go, Sivir. And that's going to be one more unless the stopwatch is able to buy you the safe amount of time. And oh my goodness, it is. That spell shield is going to deny that last Q from the Mordekaiser. Porkchop is going to go down with Talented looking so very low, and 4 members of Wildfire Ravens in pursuit. They do get the Yuumi slow. They do get the auto from the Corki, and that's going to be Keyboarder picking up a kill off on a Talented. A lot of action in this game 1. You know, we do see the double teleport that was coming in. I don't think he spell shielded the Mordekaiser roll, because I'm pretty sure he was in there. Fairly certain it was that last Q, because the timing ran out, because he was in the Shadow Realm. And then, you know, you can only last in there for what is maybe 8 seconds, I believe, and SWBF doing a great job to utilize that stopwatch, and, you know, right as he came out of it, you know, try to get that last Q to get the hit off on the Sivir. You know, you had the Yuumi heal as well, but yeah, the only way you can really tell with a Mordekaiser roll in Spectator, you can take a look at the bodies of the person that's supposedly afflicted. You know, so for example, you saw Sivir, like her, I'm not going to rewind it, but the entire character model will kind of look darkened, or almost like a shadow, I guess. That's really the only way you can tell in Spectator. We don't get like the spooky Shadow Realm that the poor Sivir had to witness. Otherwise, though, the score and kills is dead even, but not the gold. About a 1k gold favor, or excuse me, gold lead in favor of Wildfire Ravens. Aqua Prison isn't quite going to land, but that Spell Shield isn't quite going to get in time. Here comes the Caitlyn ult, doing a good amount of damage, but not quite going to be enough to finish him off. Both 80 carries are sitting on about the same items, their BF sword and then second item equivalent, and that's going to be the Glacial Prison, not quite going to find the Sivir, but here's Griffin on the side, dodging the Aqua Prison. That's going to be the Olaf ult coming out. It's me, that's OP, is going to be able to get away. That's going to be the Olaf flashing away. The heal from Yuumi is just barely going to keep him alive. And we have the tidal wave coming out. That's going to be a flash forward from Valencia. That's going to be Griffin going down. Valencia going for more. Does land the Q off on a Sivir, and Brush trying to kite back to the best of his ability. That's going to be Talented, taking out yet another kill off onto SWBF. 6 kills in favor of USArmy Esports now. Brush still here on the side while Corki and Dropshot are trying to make their way in, but that's going to be a lot of damage coming out from Alacrity. That's going to be one headshot from Talented, and that's going to be a dead cat on the ground. And even though we just saw a gold lead in the favor of Wildfire Ravens, that is immediately taken back by USArmy. Already 2k gold lead. You know, that 3k total gold swing. It's pretty impressive. We have Porkchop up in the top lane. Oldham, meanwhile, well, Dropshot actually responded down there. Maybe not really making much of an impact, but still missing. Look, all these minions up in the top lane are dying. You know, none of it is going over to Dropshot. Teleport was used to get down there. He was able to finish off the Iceborne Gauntlet, and meanwhile, Protobelt is finished off on a pork shot from the Mordekaiser. So he's going to have that little bit of a gap closer and makes him even more scary than he already is. Drop shot, seeing if you can maybe slow down this Mordekaiser and get some damage off. But again, despite this Iceborne Gauntlet build of the, you know, tankier sustain... That was a little buggy. Tankier sustain Karma that comes out, you know, it's really awesome for the utility standpoint. You know, it's really cool. You can, you know, really annoy your opponent, be a nuisance, but you're not going to be able to do anything yourself, and that's a problem. And Bush almost falling there to the Caitlyn. Alacrity doing so much damage with his Electrocute Zed, but thankfully Corki was there just enough in range for the cat to be able to scurry away with that W right off into the Corki. So, a little bit of a close call. Don't think Yuumi wants to put herself in that much danger, but gets that recall finished off, and we can go again. Griffin right now trying to see what vision he can find and clear it out to the best of his ability, while Valencia is actually up in the jungle of this Olaf. But right now the Olaf actually does have a little bit of an experience lead, sitting at level 9 with Sejuani only being at level 8 for now. We do see the difference in the jungle items though, the Cinder Hulk being finished off, and on the side here Valencia potentially looking for a Glacial Prison. Off onto the side here, we're not quite sure if they're going to pull this off. They do see it is warded, so have to understand that their intentions are at least well known by Wildfire Raven's bot lane. Not going to happen though. Valencia is going to stay a little bit within close quarters. Another headshot from that trap is being landed by Talented there. So again, with Yuumi being as squishy as she is, you know, 1 or 2 headshots, and that's going to be a very, very dangerous situation for Yuumi to be in. Looks like we might get a little bit of a fight here, though. Talented abusing this Caitlyn range to the best of his ability. Knocking off that ult as much as he can. But we're not seeing a lot of response here. Glacial Prison does land by Valencia, as well as the Aqua Prison coming out from Mitsume. That's OP. The Tidal Wave does land onto Yuumi, but going to be able to get to the safety of the Sever. Griffin popping that ultimate, even though he's responding, he's not able to do too much for him. Is able to get away with the Yuumi heal, but the 3 members down here. Deathmark does go down by Zed. Is he even going to use a spell? Doesn't really need it. Deathmark pop is going to be enough to finish off the Sever. Corki does come in with a package, trying to get that one last auto off on Alacrity. Can't even speak. That's going to be 8 kills. The slow isn't going to be found by the Yuumi, though, but the final chapter is going to see if they can find Talented. The heal movement speed is going to be able to get it out in time. Keyboarder, though, seeing if you can find the Nami. The Q does land. That's going to be another auto. That's going to be Valencia falling down a double kill for Keyboarder, and Talented is still here on the side with so very little health, so very little mana, and Drop Shot sees it. He's in pursuit. The flash forward Mantra Q is going to be able to get him to shut down, and Griffin getting a little too close to Porkchop is going to be able to fall to him. Despite low, despite having that sustain, isn't going to be enough, and that flash forward is going to be another shutdown over the Porkchop, but Drop Shot and Brush are going to be able to pick up the ace for Wildfire Ravens, but what an explosive fight all around. 19 kills in this 17-minute game already, but the gold advantage is still in the hands of USArmy Esports. Lots of flashes blown. We're seeing, you know, the Karma flashing forward, the Mordekaiser flashing forward, you know, the Corki, you know, flashing for the kill. Like, so much aggression coming out from these two teams, but Zed already has his ultimate available. I'm not sure if he wants to go on the Iceborne Gauntlet, Ninja Karma, but the Aqua Prison isn't quite going to land. Deathmark does go down. Seeing to find the triple shuriken might be enough, but not the Karma as stopwatch. Sever is here with the On the Hunt, gets the movement speed down, the teleport is coming in, and that's going to be the keyword of responding. Aqua Prison isn't quite going to be found. But again, despite a lot of action happening, nothing is going to be a result of it. Seeing if they can siege down this outer mid lane turret, but otherwise, not too much. Alacrity, I'm very certain, could have gotten the kill off onto that Karma had it not been for the stopwatch. So, you know, pretty good play from It's Me That's OP and Alacrity trying, you know, pick off what they can. But the Keyboarder is going to find Valencia in his own jungle, and Talented is there as well. Maybe not the people he wanted to find. Those aren't Krugs. Those are people. Otherwise, Griffin is on the side here, seeing he can find Talented. The Undertow does manage to, you know, take Valencia down to about half health, but he cannot be stopped while in that ulted form. Yuumi Q doesn't quite find anyone, but the Keyboarder still is on the side. Non-sustain is coming through for Talented. He's going to be able to push out this wave with the 4 members of Wildfire Ravens defending this top lane inner turret. Karma is not there, but the teleport is available. Aqua Prison is found onto the Yuumi, and actually the Glacial Prison is going to be able to combo it up, but it doesn't matter. He's going to find the safety of Griffin. Final chapter comes out as well to be able to stun out Valencia, but again, nothing is going to happen unless Porkchop uses the Proto Belt and tries to find his way. Does get the Shadow Realm. It's going to be a 1v1 Olaf, and you're going to be going down. Porkchop takes down Griffin. Awkward Prison isn't quite going to be found, but the keyboard is having to limp away, and that's going to be Talented. Picking up another kill. Dropshot manages to teleport in, but for what reason? Your teammate's already dead. 5 members are left remaining on USArmy Esports' side, with Baron coming up in about 30 seconds, but alternatively, to go along with their 2 Cloud Dragons they've already secured, we've got an Ocean Dragon on the map, so maybe something that they'll be looking towards right now. Pushing up to the mid lane as far as they can, but I really do not see Wildfire Ravens responding to this Dragon, so it looks like this third one is really going to be for free and uncontested. And there it goes. Third dragon of the game. So we'll get a little bit of an item check going, seeing what's going on around the map. Porkchop right now does have his 2 completed items with that Rylai's Crystal Scepter as well as the Proto Belt. Otherwise, just a very tanky Sejuani, nothing but health with that Cinder Hulk and Giant spell sitting there with the Ninja Tabi as well. That's really all you need on a tank in this current meta. You know, 20 minutes, you can't really afford anything else without any sort of personal gold income, so it's all having to go into health, but it's going to lead him to be just a nice tanky front line. Otherwise, we're not seeing a lot of usefulness coming out of this Olaf. Griffin really not having the best game of his life here. Does have the Warrior complete and nearly the Black Cleaver. So he's going to be able to, you know, at least be some sort of utility, lowering the armor of others, just so SWBF has an easier time with that Ricochet and DPSing his own. 2 items are finished on Talented here with this Infinity Edge and Static Shift Caitlyn. So again, this is typically what we're going to see with the Fleet Footwork Keystone choice, as opposed to the Lethal Tempo Caitlyn, where we're going to see nearly a Sivir build, where instead of the Essence Reaver first, you'll get the Infinity Edge and then the Essence Reaver, and then typically some sort of high AD item to be able to complement it. So you're getting about 300 AD. It packs a wallop with your ultimate, and you're still getting attack speed anyway that you're kind of lacking from that Zeal item, as long as you utilize the Lethal Tempo, and then Berserker Greaves gives you a pretty insane amount as well. And a lot of these team fights now in Season 9, they're not really elongated team fights that, you know, are lasting with like, oh, the carries, you know, DPSing on the back line, he's constantly getting autos off, and, you know, like kind of how it used to be. Not really that. It's mostly like, how much damage can you do in 5 seconds or less? So the more one auto packs a punch, I think it's going to be a little bit more useful. Yuumi, though, doing a good job to be an absolute nuisance. That slow is pretty massive, but the heal coming out from the Athene's Nami is also massive as well. Right now, though, there is a little bit of a siege in the mid lane. Zed is top, was able to push in that top lane. Here comes the Youmuu's active, though. Are we going to see an ult come down? Talented doing a good job to poke, but taking a lot of damage from that turret. Doesn't matter if he has the sustain of that Nami. He's taking a little bit of a beating. Dropshot doing a good job to avoid the pullback of Porkchop here. Doing a good job being a nuisance. That's really all you need to do on this Karma. Just constantly spam your abilities and heal up. And meanwhile, though, Karma is going to be sent to the Death Realm. Sejuani is there trying to help, but he can't help if it's a 1v1. Porkchop doesn't need any help. He is able to take down that Karma, but they aren't going to be able to defend the siege up in the mid lane. Talented. Not quite getting that crit off, but I don't know. I didn't think I was going to like that skin, but I actually like the sounds of that Caitlyn skin. It's kind of satisfying. I don't have any prestige skins, just because I think the system is absolutely ridiculous. So I'm not going to buy into it. But I have a gemstone skin. I have a Soul Stealer Vein. So does that count? I don't know. I don't have any of the gold flashy ones. No prestige and no hex deck. Otherwise, the keyboarder is coming in with the package. Valencia getting slowed up. Does Wildfire want to actually go in on this? Olaf says yes, and he goes in. That's going to be Talented taking him down, and that's going to be the package going straight down the middle of the lane. Deathmark is going to be Zonius up, and SWBF not able to get the flash over the wall. That's going to be one more auto taking out the kill for a double kill off onto this Caitlyn right now, while the rest of the members try to siege up. Zed is dead, but it's not going to be enough to stop them. Mantra Q does do a good amount of damage off on the Karma, but that sustain coming out from the Nami is going to be enough to keep him safe. The final chapter comes out from the Yuumi. as the Valkyrie going back to reposition the keyboarder. Not quite going to find the slow, except they will off of Valencia, and that's going to be drop shot. Picking up the kill up on the Sejuani, and that's going to be exhaust going down on Talented. Aqua Prison does land, but the keyboarder DPSing all the meanwhile. That's going to be a shutdown. Or for drop shot, the last one remaining is going to be It's Me, That's OP. That QMQ is going to land, but oh my goodness, what a beautiful Aqua Prison does land by the Nami. They do have the blue trinket. They are hot in pursuit, but here comes Porkchop. It's Me, That's OP does manage to get to safety, and here comes the Conqueror, Mordekaiser. They aren't too sure what to do. Keyboard does manage to flash over the wall, but that's going to be drop shot, being sent to the Shadow Realm all alone, nowhere to go, only as armor. Does get pulled back, but it's just not going to be enough damage, and SWBF does manage to teleport in. There's a 1v3. Porkchop bites off a little bit more than he can chew. Probably the biggest Porkchop you've ever seen. Here's Alacrity, though. The action just never stops. The slow from the Olaf maybe doesn't quite notice with that sweeper that the Zed is in there. Maybe just didn't want to fight him, but either way, the score is nearly neck and neck in kills, but not quite in gold. 45,000 nearly on the side of US Army Esports, and just a little bit over 40,000 for Wildfire Ravens. Wow. What a game so far. What a game. Nearly 30 kills, just about 25 minutes in. And otherwise, we're going to be playing a little bit more of the waiting game. The fourth dragon on the map, it is going to be the third Cloud Dragon, which I don't think people realize how amazing Cloud Dragon is having that movement speed. You know, you're taking it away from a movement speed composition. You know, I did like Wildfire Raven's composition more than US Army Esports at the beginning of this game. But imagine if they had the three Cloud Dragons, you know, with the Sever, with the Karma, with the Olaf, even with the Yumi, I would argue to say. But instead, that's going to be going over to Nami, which, you know, certainly helps Nami's passive when, you know, being used on people, whether it's the tidal wave that everyone can kind of go in, or people don't even realize that if your allies get hit by an Aqua Prison even, that will give you the movement speed passive buff from the Nami. And something like Caitlyn, where, you know, trying to chase people down, you know, trying to kite, trying to get as many autos and movement speed is going to be effective. And a melee like Mordekaiser, where you need to catch up to actually use your abilities, get the pull, get the ult off, you know. Having three Cloud Dragons is absolutely insane, and I don't think Wildfire Ravens are really ready. Or are they? Final chapter comes out by the Yumi, that's going to be Nami falling down. Glacial Prison does come out, SWBF is locked up, and Drop Shot is here teleporting in. Does have the Mantra E to be able to shield all of the members to safety to the best of his ability. Alacrity is on the side here. Porkchop's going to be teleporting in. And here comes Drop Shot, so very low, he's going to be knocked down by that Conqueror Mordekaiser. Deathmark is going to land by SWBF, that's going to be a pop, and he's going to be dead. And Griffin going down, has a stopwatch available, that's going to be trapped up by Caitlyn. That's going to be a Q, is he going to be able to find the keyboard? Valencia is so very low, and Porkchop is the only one left remaining with enough health that wants to be able to fight. And otherwise, that is going to be 4 members alive on the side of US Army Esports, only having to sacrifice their Nami for 3 of the kills being taken away from Wildfire Ravens. Baron is being started up right now. There is Vision right on the side here that was able to have the keyboard to teleport in, but he's all alone with this Yumi, and he's going to get clonked on the head, and Brush, you got nowhere to go. And that's going to be an ace over to US Army Esports. Alacrity getting very low from this Baron, but it's not quite going to matter. Got out to safety, got the Nami heal, and that is going to be US Army Esports picking up this Baron for game 1. And now a little bit more of the waiting game. If you want to talk about items, we can talk about the crit that was finished on the Corki. He does have his Infinity Edge, and going to be working on that Zeal item, while alternatively, we do see 2 armor penetration items, as well as the armor shredding item of that Black Cleaver finished on Zed. Warmog's armor is finished on the Sejuani, leading her and Mordekaiser to be such a tanky frontline. I mean, there is health being built on the Mordekaiser, as we can see with the Leandries and the Rylais, but the only defensive we're seeing is from that Spirit Visage, so he's going to have a good amount of magic resistance to deal with the Karma and the Corki. And you could even argue Yumi to a certain extent, because she actually does a good amount of damage, having that Arcane Comment, having the Athenes, as well as the, goodness gracious me, Ardent Sensor. It's actually a good amount of ability power, so, you know, being able to reduce that and, you know, increase your healing as much as possible, it's going to be only beneficial for this front line of US Army Esports. But the Athenes was finished on the Karma as well, which is going to lead her to be even more of a nuisance when applying the utility to the rest of her team. Right now, though, look at the 80 carry item difference. Infinity Edge, Static Shiv, and Rapid Fire Cannon, as well as an Executioner's Calling on the side of Talented, while SWBF only just now finishing the Static Shiv with this Essence Reaver. So 3 completed items to 2 can be a huge difference, especially when it comes to these Siege. Alacrity on the side here. The keyboarder does have the package available. seeing if they want to make a play. They only have a certain window if they want to make it happen. Version is being cleared out. The package, Alacrity is actually going to juke that out. A little bit of fancy feet there, but having to deal with the Sivir. Going to be able to flash away and getting a kill in the meantime. Or maybe not. SWBF does manage to spell shield the depth mark, but that's going to result in Talented picking up that mid inhib. Tidal Wave does come out from Nami. That's going to be a lot of damage coming out from this Caitlyn right now. Red buff truly does hurt. With a 3-item Caitlyn at this stage of the game, working on those turrets to the best of their ability. The top lane inhib is being taken as well. Valencia does get rooted up. Final chapter comes out from Yumi, but they aren't going to be able to make anything happen out of it. No one's getting rooted up today. Well, Talented is still in the range to be able to get all this damage off. Not going to be able to get that Mordekaiser pullback, but Nami very low on the backside. So much damage coming out from this Corki. Almost taking this Caitlyn down. He's not quite going to find it. Did not get the crit that he needed, and Talented is going to be able to take down the keyboarder. Right now, Brush is on the Griffin trying to get the heal that he needs, but Dropshot is going to be falling to Pork Chop off on the side here. So very tanky and so very powerful, and SWBF getting pro-belted up is going to get, or not going to get slowed by Valencia. They're going to spell shield it, but it's not going to matter. 5 members are still alive, and USArmy Esports walk right up to the base of Wildfire Ravens, and they take Game 1 in a pretty dominating fashion, slowly but surely. So, taking a look... Oh, I didn't get the little victory music here. Alright, hold on. I'm doing a bad job. Here, look. You can look at stats. See, I completely dropped the ball on this. Let's see. LCS victory music. Look at that. There you go. Good job, USArmy Esports. Insane. Now this is hype. Look at the damage. Look how much damage that Talented was able to pull off on this Caitlyn. Followed up by the Corki, doing a good amount of damage, but nowhere near as much. The Sivir did not compare to the damage coming out from this Caitlyn. Olaf was able to do a good amount of damage, but when you think about it, the utility that, Sejuani's able to bring with being a frontliner, I mean, every time we saw Olaf kind of walk into a fight, only having Warrior complete and then the components of Black Cleaver, getting absolutely just blown to smithereens before he can even do anything. I mean, he's just running towards someone, and he's just not able to get just any damage off because he's dead by the time he gets there. It's an outdated champion that it's hard to pull off. It's hard to pull off, to say the least. So, as we get set up for Game 2 of USArmy Esports and Wildfire Ravens, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, get the thing set up, make sure I got the scores all displayed all properly, and then we'll get into Game 2. Don't go anywhere. Alright, and here we go. Oh, I gotta update the scores. That's not right. 1-2? That's just wrong. Alright, so the actual scores, now that I'm correcting it, is Wildfire Ravens sitting at 0 with USArmy Esports 1. There we go. It's all fixed up, so USArmy Esports were able to take the victory of Game 1 of this best of 3 series. Only one more to finish it off if they think they're going to be able to pull that off. Right now, taking a look at the rosters, a little bit of a switch up. It's not going to be Brush in the bot lane with SWBF for Wildfire Ravens, but instead it's going to be Tokushiro instead on support. Tokushiro is going to be against Talented and It's Me That's OP that had a pretty dominating, I'd say a pretty dominant performance in that last game, honestly. With that Caitlyn Nami, I think Talented played fantastically. And we did see a lot of really clutch plays that was coming out from the Nami as well, but overall, I think the entire squad of USArmy Esports did perform fairly well. But there was actually pretty impressive Yuumi positioning that last game. You know, was able to, you know, attempt to make plays to the best of her ability despite the situation that she was given. So effort is to be commended for, certainly. So right now, coming off the bat in the first banning phase, you know, we see the Kled and Morgana taken off the table, so not really switching up the bans too much, at least on the side of Wildfire Ravens, and their last ban is going to be the Yuumi. So they're maybe suspecting that, knowing that they had taken away in that first draft, that, you know, maybe USArmy Esports want to prioritize that in this next game, knowing that they don't have Brush to throw on it. So maybe Tokushiro doesn't play Yuumi as much, or maybe, you know, they just want to take it off the bat in general, because honestly, if they actually wanted it, they do have the first pick, Wildfire Ravens does. So otherwise, they're going to be taking the Sejuani away, not wanting to have the Glacial Prison be utilized in any way, shape, or form, as well as Thresh to deny any sort of death sentences or boxes being thrown on the ground. And no Camille hookshots to be seen here, also being taken away. So the first pick that we're going to see prioritized for Wildfire Ravens is going to be Karthus. So if I had to guess, I'm more than likely going to say it's going to be a Karthus jungle for Griffin there. But I'm not really sure. I don't really know a lot of these players anymore that are currently in the SFL. I know a few familiar faces. I've recognized Valencia, Alacrity, SWBF, Tokushiro, but I'm not really sure about the rest of the players. So I'm not sure if the keyboarder is willing to play Karthus, or if that's one way they want to flex it. But we're going to take a safe bet and say it's in the jungle. But otherwise, that's going to be a Silas lock-in for USArmy Esports. More than likely for Alacrity, but again, it's these flex picks that we have to see where they're going to go. Is it going to go top? Is it even going to go jungle that we've sometimes seen? It's going to be a little unlikely with what Valencia is hovering through right now. I don't really want to see another Olaf. I get the idea of like, oh, I just beat this guy when he picked this champion, now I'm going to pick it and stomp him with it. I understand that, but I don't really want to see that, and they're not going to do that. Valencia picks up the Jarvan the 4th. See what they can actually do with the deep backline, EQ, Flag and Drag, and the Cataclysm. I do like the Silas pickup versus the Karthus, though, if they are able to get that ultimate stolen away from him. And, you know, having a Requiem on your team is certainly beneficial, especially if you are against a Karthus that has his own Requiem. SWBF, though, is going to see if he can go onto this Caitlyn and take it away from Talented, so I'm interested to see what Talented has as a response for it. Now, I'd like to see Sivir, because it really does negate a lot of the pressure that comes from the Caitlyn traps. You know, just being able to constantly spell shield it, and then you just have the wave clear that's able to match up to a Caitlyn. I think it's one of the best matchups to go into it. Does look like, again, they're not gonna... I don't think that's gonna be a Karma top again. I mean, Dropshot was able to stay safe. He was able to farm up with that Karma, but I didn't see the impact out of it that I really want to. So otherwise, I don't think it's going to be that. It looks like it is going to be a Nautilus locked in for Tokushiro, which, as far as I know, that probably is a bit more of a style. Seeing if they can pick people off with this hook, or even just position them right into the Yordle snack traps. We'll see what USArmy Esports decide the last pick for this first pick phase is going to be. And they're looking at the Lux, so that is going to be taken there, I assume. I'm not sure where it's going to go. It definitely could be for Alacrity in the mid line, but it could also be for It's Me That's OP on support. Even though we did see a lot of nerfs coming Lux's way with, you know, we saw the Aftershock nerf that was, you know, primarily targeted towards people that were playing a lot of Lux support, but it's still viable. It's still viable, and even though a little bit of the changes that were made to her made it more beneficial for her to play mid lane, you know, actually accumulate some AP to, you know, be a bit more beneficial, and taking away the CDR reduction from her ultimate, I could definitely see it in the mid lane, but otherwise, knowing that the AD carries are left to be picked up for US Army Esports, they are taking away the Lucian, you know, taking away these aggressive power picks that Talented can, you know, kind of get in your face with and try to pick off an advantage of his own. And we're seeing Yasuo taken off the table, which is a little interesting, and, you know, makes me curious as to what the respective champion pools are of these different teams. So I'm going to say that the keyboarder, more than likely, is probably a Yasuo player that they're looking to target there, and there's actually no ban for that last ban of US Army Esports. I assume, you know, sometimes problems happen in champ selects where you aren't really able to get a ban through, which really isn't a problem as long as you can communicate to the other team, oh man, this ban was supposed to be X, you know? So I've been in situations like that. You know, the League client, even in 2019, of 9 years of production, is still one of the worst pieces of software ever to exist on the market, but their next ban is going to be that Ezreal. So again, just primarily focusing on Talented here. They want to see what he's going to... I really don't like that it's Lucian Ezreal that they're taking off, because I still think that Sivir is going to be the way they want to lean for Talented in this composition right now. I think it would be marvelous. So I'm waiting to see here. And it's actually going to be the Kai'Sa, which I would consider much scarier than the Lucian and Ezreal alternative choices. So having that picked up, I think is... Again, I think it's very much US Army Esports' style. Now that you're going to have the deep line dive of the Sylas and Jarvan going into the back line with the Flag and Drag Cataclysm, Sylas, you know, being able to just get in there with the chains. You know, if you have this killer instinct coming up from Kai'Sa into the back line, you know, that's going to be bad news for SWBF if he doesn't have some sort of... Again, we do see that's more than likely going to be that Nautilus support, so it's not going to be something to completely negate a play being made. You know, I think of something like Janet Tornado, I think of Lulu Polymorph, Soraka Silence, a lot of things that could potentially just really cuck someone that's trying to jump on top of your AD carry. And sure, you have the crowd control that comes out from Tokashiro on this Nautilus. You know, you have the hook, you have the stun and the slows that come out, as well as the ultimate, which is one of the best point-and-click ultimate crowd control abilities in the game. But it's still... I'm still scared. I'm still a little bit scared. Both teams have a massive amount of damage. You see the last pick for Wildfire Ravens is going to be this Rise up in the top lane for Drop Shot, which hopefully I want to see if he actually does a little bit better than... Again, I can't even say the performance that he had on Karma was poor. You can't say that at all, but I want to see something better. I think that's a fair thing to say. And the last pick for US Army Esports is going to be a personal favorite pick of mine, especially for competitive. It's going to be Alacrity on this Lissandra. So as we all swap around to our respective picks, it looks like it's going to be Rise, or Drop Shot on Rise against Porkchop on Sylas. And the jungle matchup is going to be Valencia on Jarvan IV versus Griffin on this Karthus. And meanwhile in the mid lane, it's going to be the keyboarder on Zed with Alacrity on Lissandra. And then in the bot lane, it's going to be SWBF on Caitlyn with Tokushiro on Nautilus. And Talented and It's Me, that's OP on this Kai'Sa and Lux in the bot lane. So a lot of damage coming out from both sides. I want to say... I don't really like the watching the draft of Wildfire Ravens is kind of disappointing. Again, it's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage coming out from both sides, but I definitely think that US Army Esports' competition is going to be a lot easier to execute. You're going to have this Lux that not only has the barrier for, you know, extra survivability, but it's going to be, you know, the constant light binding that's going to come out, and then you can actually couple that with all the Lissandra CC that's going to come out with the constant stuns, and especially if she's able to get in there with the claw and just self-ult herself, it's going to be a beautiful setup to get the Jarvan in there and then the Sylas. But it could also go the completely other way. If Wildfire Ravens are able to, you know, make a couple picks off, if they're able to get a good Nautilus hook, or if they're able to even, you know, set up Caitlyn traps in an appropriate way where, you know, they get them in a choke, and, you know, US Army Esports just gets caught out a little bit. You're having to deal with, you know, this constant AoE damage of the Rise, the constant AoE of the Karthus, that's not even including the Requiem, so you have to worry about when he dies, where is he dying, where, you know, where are carries positioned around the Karthus, where he's dying at, is he going to be able to get his Requiem off? And, again, versus the composition that USArmy Esports have, Zed's a little risky. I'm a little scared for it. So while this last 2 minutes ticks down, you know, I'm going to give my voice a little bit of a break. We're going to take a look at these compositions. We're going to just listen to some nice music as we get into Game 2 of USArmy Esports and Wildfire Ravens. Alrighty, and it would not be an SFL game if we didn't get a pause right at the start. So I'm so very excited to just sit here and try to kill time as much as I possibly can. Oh, I forgot my ping and stuff is in the corner, and it doesn't mess with the logo, but it just doesn't make it look as pretty. But anywho, game has started right off the bat, so I was complaining for nothing. So this is Game 2 of USArmy Esports versus the Wildfire Ravens. We did see the USArmy Esports have a pretty dominating victory in that first game right now. And we're seeing that it actually might be a little bit of an invade here as opposed to the typical line of scrimmage that we saw in that previous game. So we'll see what Wildfire Ravens have up their sleeve. This is a 5-man invade right now, and the Lux is able to spot it out. We're not seeing any pings go down, but Award is going to be able to see all 5 members. Right now, they're trying to sneak in here, but is there going to be a response from USArmy? It doesn't quite look like it. Silas and Lysandra are on the side. Flash forward from Tokashira is going to be able to catch Talented, but no summoner spells are going to have to be burned on the USArmy Esports side. Just going to have to result in Talented recalling away. I'm excited to see some Kai'Sa gameplay, because I think, again, when it came to the Ezra Lucian bans, again, I understand that I wouldn't have banned Lucian at all. I definitely don't think it's going to be a priority ban. I can understand why you'd want to ban Ezreal. It's certainly one of the more frustrating picks to have to deal with, especially once he does pack up that CDR and constantly having that Arcane Shift make him such a slippery opponent, and constantly shooting Mystic shots, just be a nuisance, all that good stuff. But right now, though, Drop Shot in a very close proximity of Valencia and Porkchop, and Alacrity is here as well. He's getting pretty low. One more auto is going to be all it takes, and that's going to be Valencia already picking up first blood. And Tokushiro, you're absolutely right that Lux did flash away, but why are you listening? That's my question. You should be playing this game, Mr. Nautilus. You're absolutely right, the Lux did flash away. That is my mistake. I was mostly just looking at the Kai'Sa, because, you know, she was the one that got hooked. I was a little worried for her well-being. Oh, the game's paused again. Lovely. Thanks for letting me know. There's been some games of SFL that, like, I think people just pause just to, like, do it, just because they think they're comedians. You know what I mean? Valencia already coming in at the level 2 flag and drag. That's going to be the keyboard, being able to shadow dash away there, but SWBF getting in the face of Talented, and it's me that's OP. Tokushiro taking a large amount of damage. Press the attack is going to get procced there, but nothing is quite going to happen just about yet, but the bot lane of Wildfire Ravens is already quite low. USArmy Esports is able to, you know, heal up to the best of their ability, but I guess you can't even say that they're low because it's just that Talented had used his health potion and SWBF. SW has not yet. Ooh, double light binding does land, but W from Kai'Sa is going to get blocked by a minion, the hero that we didn't know we needed, or something along those lines. Otherwise, this Lux is proven to be quite a nuisance. And Griffin getting caught out here by the Lissandra. Porkchop is on the side as well, and here's Valencia. It's going to be a little bit of a battle, but that Karthus is going to be able to fall down. Drop shot does not arrive in time. Alacrity, a little bit of, no, he's got some fancy feet on him. He's got his Nikes all strapped up, dodging a few of those cues. Otherwise, though, all the sustain, besides the one biscuit sitting on Tokushiro right now, has been blown down in the bot lane. Pork chop and drop shot going back and forth up in the top lane a little bit, with Silas having that red buff has a little bit of an advantage. That passive health regen, you know, comes into play a little bit when it comes to, you know, skirmishing a little bit back and forth in lane, and then you get to kind of sit and heal up, and see that he has his corrupting potion advantage as well, and he yet again lands the chains off on a drop shot, but a lot of minions you have to deal with, Silas. Flash forward isn't going to pay off, buddy. And there's drop shot, picking off the kill into pork chop, and what? Wait. Huh? Okay. I was about to say, what? Wait, was that actually just like, did Valencia and Alacrity really not kill the keyboard, even knowing that he was AFK? Wow. That's pretty respectable. Huh. I'm pretty sure that's what I just saw. Because I thought my spectator client was just bugging out. I'm like, oh, maybe like the Z isn't there, but it's just showing him on my screen. But no, he was there. And he still is. He's getting beaten up by those minions right there. He's got 2 casters and a cannon on him. Oh my god, look at the game time that it paused at. Yo! Who paused it? I want to know. Who's the comedian? Putting the weed number up there. This is a child-friendly stream. There's no drugs here. Thank you. Thank you for unpausing it for my Christian eyes. Anywho, getting back into it. I'm all out of my groove. See, that's why I hate pauses. Because then I'm thrown off. You see a little bit of an experience lead on the side of Wildfire Ravens' bot lane right now. They understand that, but we'll take a look at the gold. How's the gold looking? Now, we see Caitlyn has just a little under 1,100, Kai'Sa at 1,000. Gosh, what is even the Kai'Sa build nowadays? I guess, you know, pickaxe into Tear of the Goddess, get the mana immune, and then Guinsos and Nashers, I want to say? I'm not sure. I actually play very little Kai'Sa. Ooh, hook does land there from Tokushiro off on a Lux there. The Aftershock is going to allow him to tank up quite a bit, and that trap is going to have a lot of damage go off on a Talented there. Both of the members of the bot lane of USArmy Esports are so very dangerously low right now. With the Ignite available, and Tokushiro going a little wide on that hook. Very, very close there. Could have maybe resulted in something, but the Lux for the meantime is going to stay. a safe enough proximity. We're yet again seeing a Fleet Footwork Caitlyn, even though, like I said, I've really been wanting to see the Lethal Tempo Caitlyn build in one of these games, but it doesn't look like either of them are going to go for it. Valencia's going to go for something, though. Does go for Drop Shot, Flag and Drag, but that's all the mana that you have. You don't even have anything else. And you're going to be able to get away just in time, but that red buff on the rise is going to be able to beat down your back a little bit. Zed is walking up towards the top lane. Valencia is so very low. All it's going to take is one little measly shuriken. That Zed's going to be able to pick up a kill. Is he going to be able to do it? Does get in there. He's going to expend the entire ultimate. There's no messing around here. Manages to flash out. Maybe not the cleanest play in the world that I've ever seen, but a play nonetheless. Does manage to pick up that kill off onto Valencia. It's going to be the keyboarder's first kill of the game. Lissandra E does come in here. Flash is available with his ultimate, but with Aftershock and just the Seeker's Arm Guard, he's not really going to be able to do too much damage to clean up on his own. So far, though, we are seeing Alacrity come up top yet again, but it's going to be Drop Shot, finishing off that recall and just clearing out some vision. For this Lissandra right now is spotted out. The Infernal Dragon, though, getting started up by USArmy Esports. Knowing that this Karthus is on the top side of the map, pretty good call, I would say, knowing they're not really going to be contested. Valencia being level 5 right now, and Griffin just now hitting that. That's going to be the first dragon of the game over to USArmy Esports. Porkchop looking very low, though. With Griffin not too far away, does have that Silas estate a little bit. Drop Shot, you know, running way ahead of him. Porkchop's like, yeah, I'll just take this other way. Got the Realm War coming out from Rise, but not quite going to need it. It's going to be Drop Shot picking up a kill off on a Porkchop in the top lane. I hope Alacrity doesn't just straight up finish the Zhonya's Hourglass and just sits on the Seekers. I don't like when people finish... oh my god! The 300 IQ Snap Trap is going to be landed by SWBF there, just knowing where Valencia was going to flag and drag to. Oh my goodness gracious. I just cannot believe how high IQ of a play that was. That was beautiful. Wow. That was just so cool, actually. Like, you could sit here and be listening to, oh, that wasn't that hard. He was on the other side. He saw where the Jarvan was, and it was pretty easy play. Like, dude, come on, man. That was pretty sick. Speaking of sick, Tokushiro, oh my god, the combination talented gets absolutely blown to smithereens. Beautiful play by Tokushiro, and on the other side of the map, that's going to be the keyboarder picking up a kill with the help of Drop Shot in the top lane off on the Porkchop. But Porkchop does manage to pick up a shutdown. The gold right now is in the favor of Wildfire Ravens, but here comes Valencia. Flash forward, Tokushiro is going to see if he can find, that's me, it's OP. That's going to be the final spark coming out from the Lux, and more actions going down to the mid lane with Alacrity being able to take down Griffin. Nearly going down, but that's going to be the Requiem. Here it comes, boom. Not going to be enough, but SWBF with these traps. Really is trapping today, and Valencia isn't quite going to be able to find him, even though he was in hot pursuit, not quite going to be able to get anything out of that. So now, even though we just said less than 30 seconds ago, there was a gold lead in the favor of Wildfire Ravens, and boom, just like that, neck and neck, 14,800 gold, or 900, look at that, just, it goes up, just, oh my god, it's so fast, 15,000 already, oh my god, just so much gold going all around. But there is a kill in favor of Wildfire Ravens, so they do have that working for them. The score is technically 6-5, but keep in mind that Infernal Dragon, as the game goes later and later, it's just going to be more and more useful. It's just insane how valuable that dragon is when it comes to pure gold income. But Tokushiro is an absolute monster. Absolutely mad life in these hooks. And there's going to be the Caitlyn ult to have talented a little bit. Not quite going to find him, but Zed is on the side and the Tokushiro isn't quite going to find that last hook, and the Lux Shield isn't going to be enough to save your Kaiser friend. But maybe you'll get a kill on the Tokushiro. There's going to be the final spark to finish it off. So a little disappointed. I was excited to see the Kaiser pick, but it's not really working out as they wanted it to. Manamune is finished off. Well, right now, 3 assists on SWBF. You know, he's sitting with that BF sword and pickaxe pretty cozy, but still a little bit of whiles to go. We're finishing off that Infinity Edge. Meanwhile, we're seeing nothing but mana on Rise, Catalyst of the Aeons, as well as a Tear of the Goddess, but guess what? Valencia is looking to see if we can find a kill in SWBF, but the teleport coming in means they are going to back off, respecting that Rise with the Light Binding just allowing them to disengage. So maybe a little bit of a smarter play, not really wanting to risk it, knowing how strong that the Kayle and the Rise are at the stage in the game. This does allow Sylas up in the top lane to be able to free farm a little bit, though. There's the, or excuse me, not the Sejuani ult, but the Nautilus ult, the Nautilus hook, and it's actually to be the Lissandra coming out, as well as a stopwatch, buying so much time with the Lissandra. Valencia does manage to take down SWBF, and a double kill is actually going to go over. And here's Sylas teleporting in. Porkchop is here, but Dropshot and Keyboarder have a lot of damage of their own to respond to it. Karthus is on the side. Light Binding isn't going to be found. That's going to be a 3v3 here in the mid lane with Lissandra recalling right now. No teleport available. Did opt for the barrier on this Aftershock Lissandra today. Otherwise, yet again, in score, it's neck and neck. It's 8-8, but when we're talking about gold, it's looking like US Esports is for now. Next dragon is going to be another Infernal Dragon, something that both teams need to keep in mind, especially with US Army Esports already having that first one. You're not wanting to multiply that strength of that one dragon that they have even more. I think it's probably one of my main reasons why I hate the idea of elemental dragons, because, you know, think about it like this, you know, you have gold dragon, you know, you get like 150 gold each or whatever, that's cool, but then you can still lose that gold advantage just by, you know, killing yourself, you know, making a stupid play. But Tokushiro, yet again, going to find another hook, but maybe they weren't accounting for Valencia to already be in such close proximity, and here comes the Requiem coming out. That's going to be Talented picking up a kill on Tokushiro, and that's going to be a flag and drag. SWF is going to go down, and Talented from 0-2 is now 2-2. So it's going to feel a little bit better for him picking up that gold there. Tokushiro did find a good hook, but when you don't account for that jungler, you don't have that vision, it's a little bit of a risky play. We do see Griffin and Valencia going back and forth here. The battle of the junglers, Zed is on the side, but Alacrity is not too far behind as well. Not quite able to find these Karthus Qs. Alacrity just with the happy feet today. Knows where they're going to be before Karthus does. And guess what? That's going to be a second Infernal Dragon for US Army Esports, which is just so very scary of a thought. Meanwhile, Tokushiro, yet again, trying to find another kill of his own. He's going to just straight up ult Valencia, get the hook off as well. Gets the stun. It's going to result in a flash away from Valencia. So, you know what? Not having the flag and drag available, you know, Nautilus did take the opportunity, knowing that it was used on that Scuttle Crab. Managed to get a Summoner spell out of it, so very well done. Meanwhile, Alacrity seeing what play he can make on the top side, but not quite going to find anything with that Rise getting right out of there. Tokushiro not quite going to find that flash hook, but an auto is going to be all he needs if he can even get in range. Good barrier, though, by the Lux, but is it going to be enough to save yourself from the Keyboarder? Both summoners are available. Deathmark does go down. It's going to be a shutdown over to the Zed. Kayle does come out, and that's going to be another shutdown. Going over to SWBF. He is now sitting on 1900 gold. He's going to be able to finish off that Infinity Edge on his next back. Meanwhile, Talented and It's Me That's OP both on the ground, but the Kai'Sa is working on her Guinsoo's Rage Blade next item. Seeing how close he can finish that up and see how quickly he can stack up this Man Immune to get his upgrades as fast as possible. Yet again, the score is dead even in terms of kills, and now it's dead even in terms of gold, but it's so silly, because you can look at like, oh, the gold's even, the kills are even, but US Army Esports have a massive lead with these double Infernal Dragons, so they have the advantage of these extra stats, and here's Porkchop. Ooh, not quite going to find the chains, but does manage to steal the Karthus ult. That's going to be Lissandra, but he's can't really use anything else, but Valencia is in here. Cease to be as the Requiem goes down, but not a lot of damage coming out there, and Sylas has a Requiem of his own. That's going to be a shutdown. That's going to be a double kill. Better Requiem wins. That's going to be Porkchop picking up his 4th kill of the game. 4 members of US Army Esports are going to walk up to this mid lane outer turret right now. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty easy turret. They're going to see if they can maybe trade it off with Dropshot up in the top lane. Tokushiro, though, is no stranger to finding these hooks, but it's not going to be enough to take off It's Me That's OP, and that Aftershock really coming in. Flag and Drag doesn't quite land on his SWBF, and that Tokushiro ult is yet again going to land, but that Caitlyn ult isn't going to be enough. to finish off Valencia. All of the members of US Army Esports are walking out of this with just a sliver of health. Now it's time to reset. Anywho. Oh shit, does my mic pick up the vape? I might be vaping. I'm watching League of Legends gameplay in Season 9. I need a constant stream of nicotine into my veins to be able to survive. I really just cannot contain myself. I almost went on a rant about elemental dragons. I can talk about cooldown reduction if you want. I can talk about all the damage champions that are in this game and really the lack of tanks in general. I could sit here and bitch all day, but I'm not going to do it. I'm like shaking though because I want to. But once I get started, I can't stop. Ooh, double light binding. Does land, you know. Actually, I'll get, you know what? I honestly really like It's Me That's OP, to be honest. You know, he had a great Nami game last game. You know, he's constantly landing these bindings. But I'm going to be honest, Tokushiro making these plays happen with this Nautilus. It's pretty, you know, it's nice to see for Wildfire Ravens that it's actually a tool that they can actually make things happen, because otherwise the only other time you're seeing something happen is really when the keyboarder is just going completely ham on something. But yeah, at least, you know, this season 80 carries are actually viable, unlike the past couple of seasons. You know, I'm okay with, you know, we see there's actually a good amount of variety, I'd say now, at least in solo queue. Seeing Caitlyn, Kai'Sa, Ezreal, even a good amount of Jhin, Ashe now at the new build, you know, going to the Arcane Comet with Essence River into Trinity Force, getting that 40% CDR. Personal favorite. Gosh, Draven is still an absolute powerhouse. I still think Draven, I'm surprised Draven's never picked in these SFL games, to be honest. I think the last time I've seen an SFL Draven game was probably Free Tyler 1. I want to say it was probably Josh. Not quite sure. But here's something we need to keep in mind. Pause. Man. Alright, so this is a pretty hype moment. It's 18 minutes into the game right now. Wildfire Ravens have 10 kills to the 12 kills of US Army Esports, but US Army Esports has 2 Infernal Dragons. Now, if US Army Esports is able to pick up this 3rd Infernal Dragon, it's got, I mean, look at the team comp that they have. Every single person is damage oriented. Even with the 2 Infernal Dragons, they're doing great. They're feeling fantastic. You're getting those, you know, those stats added to you. It feels great. It's a great time, right? But if you're at least able to take it away, it's not really... Okay, so Wildfire Ravens right now, they don't really want to take the Infernal Dragon for the stats, because even though it's great, you're like, yeah, they're going to get bonus stats too. It's great because, you know, they have all damage champions as well. Caitlyn, Zed, Karthus, Ryze. Okay, you know, that's fine. But it's mainly to take it away from the 3rd. It would be 3 Infernal Dragons for US Army Esports. So you're kind of just wanting to prevent that as opposed to getting a dragon yourself, right? Otherwise, one of my pet peeves, and again, I'm not a jungler. I'm hard stuck bot lane main, so maybe I'm uneducated. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But when it comes to the usage of the Conquer rune in the jungle, the only time I ever enjoy seeing it combined with like warrior enchantment and full damage is really only on Lee Sin. Anything else, I really don't like it, and Valencia on this Jarvan is kind of an example of that. I really do think if you have beefiness of the Cinderhulk and more of a tanky build with a Black Cleaver, I think Conquer is going to be a lot more beneficial, but Griffin getting caught out by the Light Binding, the final spark, it is going to result in him dying, but Tokushiro landing the hook on a talented Requiem is coming down, but not really doing a lot of damage on that Karthus just yet. The keyboarder does manage to have the Ulko down, but It's Me That's OP. Does manage to get the slow off and Alacrity finishing off the kill. That's going to be a stopwatch coming out. But here's Porkchop. Nautilus Assault comes out and he does stop that Realm Warp from the Rise, and he's on a rampage now. Tokushiro is now having to run away, and guess what? Even though there's only 2 members on this dragon right now, or it's going to be 3, they can't really duo this Infernal Dragon. So they got Porkchop coming over here, and this will be uncontested with Karthus just now respawning. Caitlyn coming in as well, but there's really nothing that Wildfire Ravens can do as US Army Esports are taking this third Infernal Dragon. Right now, we do see Alacrity having a Deathless Lysandra game, able to utilize both. He has not only a Zoni's Hourglass, but also he bought a second stopwatch. Or, no. Wait. Yes. I'm correct. Yes, that is a second stopwatch. So, really utilizing the amount of time that you can build, buffering between Zoni's Hourglass, you know, self-casting your ultimate, another stopwatch, and just all this time that you can, you know, sit in the middle of 5 people, get these AoE spells off, and then buy yourself some time in stasis, you know, and then get your cycle through again, and then buy yourself some time in stasis, and constantly repeat that. It's quite a Lysandra player thing to do. You know, this is actually showing a little bit of experience on the champion, at least from my perspective. I might be talking completely out of my ass, I'm not sure. But as far as I can tell, the Alacrity, you know, seems to be a pretty well-versed Lysandra at this point. Tokishiro, though, seeing he can find a kill, drop shot is on the side here, but here's Talented. Seeing him look at that rise right now, though, and we do see the teleport coming in. Who's it going to be? It's going to be Porkchop, and we see yet again that Requiem is getting stolen. Proto belting forward to see if he can find Griffin. Doesn't get the slow off, but the keyboard is here, and there goes Talented. Getting taken down by SWBF, but Porkchop is on the side. A Cataclysm is coming out from drop shot. The Requiem is coming out from Porkchop, but that's not Karthus. That is a Silas picking up that triple kill. US Army Esports are really just dominating these fights, unless you kind of just walk into a Karthus. That's not really, you know, what I'd suggest. But they really wiped that fight, and they didn't even have their 5th member. Alacrity was on the bot side this entire time. There is no teleport available on this Lysandra. So, you know, think about, you know, it was that successful of a fight without your Lysandra. Imagine with it, you know? I do like the smart purchase of the Mercury Treads on the Zed. Nobody else has them. We're seeing the Sword Shoes on both the other mages of Wildfire Ravens, but again, look at the crowd control. It's going to be coming out from the side of US Army Esports, mainly having to deal with the Lysandra and the Lux. You know, this Lux has been constantly landing light bindings. You know, maybe you're not having to deal with the Lysandra crowd control if she's not even there like last fight, but even so, it's a good pickup on the Zed. I'm glad the keyboarder did opt for those. There's really little to no CC. No, that's a lie, actually. I can't say that for Wildfire Ravens. You do have the Caitlyn traps you have to deal with. You have the Rise route, as well as the massive amounts of different crowd control that the Nautilus can dish out. So maybe Merc Treads, you know, you could probably opt for them, you know, as the Jarvan did. So Valencia picking those up for that tenacity. But otherwise, I want to take a look at the gold here, because I do notice that Kai'Sa does have the 3 components of Arguinso's Rage Blade, so when he does finish his next back here, he is going to have that second item finish, and there are 2 items finished on SWBF on this Caitlyn, having that Infinity Edge and the Rapid Fire Cannon. It is about a 4K gold lead in favor of US Army Esports right now. Again, 3 Infernal Dragons, 1 turret advantage as well with those 5 kills that they're able to hold over the heads of Wildfire Ravens right now, and then Tokishiro just gonna pop off that redemption real quick. Get a little bit of a heal going. He's looking a little low. Manages to clear up some vision. Doing a good job placing that pink over on the side of that wall and clearing this pink, but kind of getting baited by the Lysandra there. Getting a little bit worried, so he does manage to hook away, and that's going to be the Caitlyn picking up that. The keyboarder, though, maybe getting caught out by Valencia, noticing he's all alone, but Nautilus, noticing his buddy is in some peril, we'll head over to him and try to protect him to the best of his ability, but a lot of damage coming out from that Karthus Q just now. Does have the Morellonomicon and the Runic Echoes finished, so much damage with the penetration of those and the boots coming in. See what he can do with this Requiem. I don't think he has a lot of Dark Harvest stacks as of right now, but SWBF is looking to be in some trouble, and that's going to be an absolutely blown to smithereens Caitlyn. Porkchop is legendary, being 9-3 on the Silas top right now. US Army Esports are now going to start up this Baron, knowing that they have the numbers advantage of it being 5-4, having a dead 80 carry on the side of Wildfire Ravens, and the 3 Infernal Dragons. And they're actually not going to go for this Baron, despite the Rise being in the bot side. Dropshot does have his teleport available, but US Army Esports decide they don't really have the damage for this right now. We're going to wait that out a little bit. Manamune is still being worked on by this Kai'Sa 640 out of the required 750 stacks to finish off that Mirror Mana. So we'll see what he is able to do in these next few minutes. Still ramping up. You know, even though it's 24 minutes in the game, you got to remember this Kaiser has yet to be completely turned on. I was thinking about segueing into some sort of sex joke with Kaiser being turned on, but I just couldn't really think of it. I'm into Kaiser, though. I'm just not witty enough. Fourth Dragon is going to go over to USArmy Esports, but it's not going to be, again, if it was something, even if it was just a Cloud Dragon, like 3 Infernals and a Cloud Dragon, that would be massive, or 3 Infernals, even just the Earth Dragon, that would allow them to Baron so much more easily. But instead, it's just going to be that Ocean Dragon. It's not going to really be a big deal, but Cloud Dragon is going to be that next dragon, so I think that's going to be a little bit more of an impactful one for them to pick up. Luden's Echo is finished on Alacrity right now, so he has that, coupled with the Zonia's Hourglass, and again, a still deathless game for now on this Lissandra. Can't say that for anybody else in this game. Uh-oh, right now, Tokushiro is still clearing out this vision. Flag and Drag and Light Binding go a little wide onto that Nautilus, but the armor is getting shredded by the Black Cleaver on this Jarvan. The Conqueror just now being procced. Taking a look at Griffin. Griffin's all alone. Flag and Drag gets the knock up, and he has his Cataclysm available, but doesn't want to get locked in with him. The Keyboarder almost completely blowing up Talented, and here's Drop Shot to respond. But that Kaiser Shield from Killer Instinct is going to keep him alive just enough in time, but not long enough. The Flag and Drag is going to be a solo adventure for Valencia, taken down by the Zed. Or not. It's going to be Griffin picking up the kill off on a Valencia. And now, this is a Wildfire Ravens game. Porkchop is in the bot side, seeing if he can get that turret, and he does indeed. But what's Alacrity going to be able to do? Has the Frozen Tomb available if he's trying to see if he can go for a play. Baron is at about 4k health. Keyboarder is recalling. Goes into the E. What's he going to be able to do? 700 health, 600 health, but that Smite from Griffin is going to be able to secure that Baron, going over to Wildfire Ravens. So despite missing every dragon, despite losing a lot of these fights, Wildfire Ravens are able to pick up the most important objective, being Baron right now. And here's Drop Shot. Oh my god, so much healing coming out from that Silas, but 1,000 gold going over to Rise. Drop Shot, feeling pretty good about that one. Cost him his flash, but I'd flash for 1,000 gold. Right now, though, the Keyboarder seeing if he can find Lux. Does manage a W over. The Death Mark is going to go down. Doesn't quite find any of the Shurikens, and Valencia is on the side. And Griffin with a little bit of an ambitious Requiem, but does do a lot of damage, so I had the right idea, but I was going to say poor execution, but does not matter, because one auto from the Keyboarder is going to take out that Lux, and then Drop Shot is going to be on a killing spree of his own, taking out that Jarvan. So despite USArmy Esports looking so good for the majority of this game, here comes Wildfire Ravens, big dick swinging, seeing if they can finish it off right now. Here comes the E, not quite going to go in. Frozen Tomb is available, does manage to steal off the Karthus Requiem yet again, and this could be game-changing. If USArmy Esports are able to find a good fight, they're just going to pop their Requiem and chase him off that inhib, and a lot of damage just come out. Lissandra not quite going to find the W stun off from that E, but a lot of the members of Wildfire Ravens are so very low right now. Honestly, this is still anybody's game, and that's what's scary about it. I want to say right now, Wildfire Ravens do have the momentum, and I think this is their game to take. They played some of the last fights beautifully. They did take out Talented when they needed to. Talented being one of the most high priority targets of that team, and they realize, hey, we take out their AD carry, they're not able to do too much. I want to say that Alacrity has been playing very cleanly, but he's not like absolutely popping off to where he's like a scary threat. You know what I mean? Porkchop, on the other hand, is a pretty scary threat. Having that Rabadon's finish, having the Luden's Echo Proto Belt, and working on that Zonia's Hourglass, he's a little bit of a force to be reckoned with, and we see the amount of healing that he's able to do just with the built-in Silas healing and that Conqueror to go along with it. So he could potentially be, as he's getting stronger and stronger. I mean, we saw what he did to the poor Caitlyn earlier. You can just get blown up in the blink of an eye. One misstep is all it takes. Right now, though, we're seeing a little bit of a cheesy brush is spotted out by the flag, as they're going to have to defend this top lane inner turret. Every member's up here. How are we going to start this fight off? Is it going to be a Lissandra engage? It is! The self-cast from Alacrity, and the keyboard is on the side. Valencia is going to be able to take down SWBF, and Griffin is going to be able to fall down as well. Valencia getting healed up, but he's going to be so very low. That Karthus Requiem is not going to be enough to take out the two members of the Zoni's Hourglasses, but it's going to be able to take out Valencia. So the amount of stopwatches, or Zoni's Hourglass, I should say, usage that is coming out this game is just absolutely insane and frustrating, to be completely honest. Medjai's Soul Stealer isn't quite paying for itself right now, constantly having those stacks reset. But Shuriken does manage to stop the recall of the Lux, but Youmuu's Goose Blade away. Zed is going to activate to get away from Porkchop. So very scary in the Stylus right now. So I really want to see the next time that he's able to... the next opportunity he's able to pick up for another Requiem, because I think having the 530 AP that he does, you know, one Requiem coming from this guy is going to be pretty devastating. But Griffin, now that he's picking up those Dark Harvest stacks, and now that he's actually, you know, picking up so much of this ability power that he has, you know, both of the Requiems in this game are now doing massive amounts of damage, but look at all that crowd control that Drop Shot is, you know, having to tank up, and that is going to be a 5th Dragon, and what we were talking about, that Cloud Dragon being a bit more impactful than the others, and that's going to be Talented picking up Tokushiro, and Porkchop finishing off SWBF. So right now, they really just need to push. You need to take advantage of these 3 death timers, rather, about 30 seconds on each of the members of Wildfire Ravens. Even though they had a good Baron play, they were able to pick up that Baron and get, you know, quite a bit out of it. Maybe not quite the inhib. USArmy Esports are slapping back, seeing if they can get this mid lane inhib turret. Flag drag forward is going to result in Griffin getting knocked up, and that's going to be Porkchop finishing off another kill. Zed doesn't quite get chained up, but he is still on the side, still alive, but now it's going to be 4 members of Wildfire Ravens are dead. Talented is still very far away from the rest of its team. The chains don't quite land, barely giving the Zed a haircut. And poor the keyboard is having to sit here as his base is just getting absolutely annihilated. And that's going to be the first inhibitor of the game going down in favor of USArmy Esports. Baron is up on the table now in about 45 seconds. We'll see which team is going to want to opt for that one. No Earth Dragons are on the table, so you don't have to worry about any sort of true damage sneaky plays. Alacrity, though, going to get ulted by this Nautilus and not going to be able to self-cast his ultimate in time. The result of 50-second death timer, and again, pretty close. Oh my god, Talented actually going down to SWBF, and guess what, when it comes to Kai'Sa Caitlyn, that's going to be a victory over for the Kai'Sa, the Assassin 80 carry, and here comes the Requiem coming out from the Karthus, but the Zoni's Hourglass is going to expire just in time to get smacked by that Requiem. There goes the Lux, and oh my goodness gracious, the kills that are going back and forth. It's going to result in the Rise and the Caitlyn being dead. Flag Dragon, the Cataclysm comes out, but Shadow Dash away. That Zed is going to be able to get to safety, but Valencia taking out Tokushiro. And again, they are looking towards Baron right now, and I honestly think with just Valencia and Talented sitting on the items that he has right now, I think they would be able to take this, that they want to opt for it. The keyboard looking so very low in health, and honest to God, he's recalling. He doesn't really want to deal with anything, but Griffin here in the mid lane. USArmy Esports are not going to start this Baron just yet. They're still just worried. They don't want to, you know, have some sort of throw that's just going to, you know, ruin the entire game, as much as, you know, both teams might have already done. Seeing the upgrade coming in from Kai'Sa as she finishes off that Stinger, so more than likely finishing off that E upgrade. Is going to feel pretty darn nice. Otherwise, though, Baron is the next play for both of these teams. Uh-oh, Griffin getting a little too close to Alacrity. Does get caught up by the Frozen Tomb. And Light Binding is going to finish off that Karthus. And guess what? That's a good Baron opportunity. We do see Drop Shot is on the bottom side of the map, clearing out those golems. Does have his teleport available. But guess what? Tokushiro getting caught out by the Light Binding as well as those chains. And here's Talented. Look at all the damage coming out from that Kai'Sa, and he's going to be on a killing spree. Does step on that trap, seeing if we can bait SWBF a little bit forward to get that headshot. But guess what? Here's the Cataclysm coming out from Valencia. And there goes Caitlyn so far. SWBF not feeling too good, but that's going to be super minions coming to the base of Wildfire Ravens, and that may be all she wrote. 2 of the remaining members on Wildfire Ravens are recalling, but is it going to be enough to defend against the 4 members of USArmy Esports? A lot of damage coming out from that Rise, but it's not going to be enough. Talented is on a rampage, taking down Drop Shot. Deathmark is going to go down. Keyboarder trying to see what he can find, and Talented looking so very low. Valencia having that Guardian Angel revive and that Redemption coming in. And that's going to be him being taken down by Tokushiro's Redemption. Requiem comes out as well. Almost killing nearly every member of US Army Esports, but almost is not enough. And that is going to be a 2-0 victory. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait. I forgot. There we go. Music. Oh my god. Victory. US Army Esports defeat Wildfire Ravens in this best of 3 series. Taking a look at the damage charts, it's going to be the Karthus. Who would have thought? Who's the next in damage? Karthus number 2, being the Silas top. Otherwise, though, that is again a 2-0 victory in favor of US Army Esports. Wildfire Ravens doing a good job to stay in it and fight to the best of their ability. We saw a lot of great plays, a lot of great catches, but in the end, it's going to be Wildfire Ravens taking the victory of tonight. So, for those that did watch, thank you so much for watching this best of 3 series of the Sugar Free League. And my name's Lystuya, casting for the past 2 hours. So if you did enjoy my casting, thanks. And I'm glad that I can actually do this and get the opportunity. But otherwise, that's going to be just about it for me for the Sugar Free League stream. So congratulations to US Army Esports. And very well done to both the teams for Wildfire Ravens as well. And we will see you. Let's take a look at the schedule, shall we? When's the next game, Lystuya? I want to watch more Sugar Free League games. Dude, I got you. If you want to watch more Sugar Free League, we've got Lane 0 Blizzard versus Recon 5 Crimson tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's not going to be casted by me, though. It's going to be casted by I Am Not Coas. So if you want to stay tuned for that, that's going to be tomorrow, again, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Sunday, if you can't catch tomorrow's game, it's quite all right. We got another game. We got Akuma Blades versus Lane 0 Inferno. Also at 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, also casted by I Am Not Coas. So again, thank you so much for watching. This is the Sugar Free League, and we'll see you next time.